Salutations gamers, I am the OgichiGame, and today I'm doing something a little differently because I got a request from somebody on one of my videos, the Luna test animation, which I put out quite a while ago. Now, I've actually been working on said animation for a while, but I've been a bit busy. I've been working on a project with that for a while, but there's been a few hiatuses, and it's very time-consuming and stuff like that, but, so that's why you haven't seen too much after that, but anyway, that's not the point. They asked me, and I'll put it up on the screen here. They asked if I would do an animation tutorial for ponies and stuff like that. Now, the request was actually made for me to do it in Flash, but I don't use Flash. I use Anime Studio Pro. But if you use Flash, that's fine. If you don't have an animation program, I would recommend using Anime Studio Pro, just because even though Flash has a few things that you can do like scripting and codes and stuff like that, or something like that, like you can program in it. If you're only looking to do animation, well, then I very much recommend Anime Studio Pro, and the reason that I use this program, which is by a company called Smith Micro, I believe they're called, if I'm remembering the name right. The reason that I use this program instead of using Flash is because the Adobe softwares like Flash require you to pay like monthly fees, and I absolutely do not have the money to pay for that. Anime Studio Pro does cost a bit. I think it costs as much as $400 to buy it. But when you buy it, that's it. You just have the program, so you don't have to worry about it anymore. You do have to pay for updates, but they give you a discount on updates. But you don't even have to buy the updates. Once you buy the program, you have the program, and that's why I use this program. You can't do like scripts and stuff like that like you can do in Flash, but I don't need to do that because all I use it for is animation. So anyway, enough stalling. Now, if you are using Flash again, there's a lot of tools in here very similar to Flash. There's a few things that are going to be a bit different, so if you're following along in Flash, you can do it all the same. It's just you're going to have to learn your tools a bit differently than what I'm showing. But if you're using the program I'm using, you won't have to. So we're going to open up a new file here, and this is what it looks like. Down here, I can bring this up a little bit. This is where all the keyframes are at. But we're not going to get into any of that right now, because we need to start off on the bare-bone basics of everything. So, if we're going to animate a pony, obviously we need a pony. So, we need to know how to make one. So, to start off, we're going to go down here into Import, and we're going to import an image. Now, I've already gone through the trouble of making sure that I have something to use as a base. Right here. Okay. And I'll make that smaller so it'll fit in there. Okay, center that a little bit. That should be fine. That should be fine, just fine and dandy. Okay, now if you're wondering, basically I decided, since this request was made by somebody who had some kind of pony OC thing going on, I decided, I might as well just do their pony OC. I'm going to import another image, which is this one, which I found on their Google Plus page, and I'm going to use this image over here for the colors. Now, what's weird about this is they showed this Pegasus form, but they also put in brackets on their Google Plus page, but it's actually supposed to be a unicorn or something. So I just put both and said, you know what, screw it, I'll just show how to do both of those. Okay, so to start off with, we have our little base here. So if you a good way to get bases or whatnot is obviously, you want to have like some paper, pencil, sketch out basically what you want, scan it onto your computer. If you don't have a scanner, I don't think they're expensive. Almost every single printer has one, so just find a printer with a scanner and put it on there. Now, if you're wondering about how I'm moving these things around like I am right now, getting them into position, I forgot to mention that. Over here on the right side, you'll see layers. And again, if you're using Flash, I'm not sure where your layers panel is, but you'll have layers, trust me. These are image layers, so we have layer 1, which it always gives a layer. There's nothing on layer 1, it always puts like a first layer for you. The second layer here, we have 013, the JPEG image, which is this image, which I imported into my computer, and imported then onto Anime Studio Pro so that I could outline this. And then up here we have Wing 1, which is the other image. And to move them around, you'll see it automatically just goes to the transform layer. This thing you'll see here on the left side, these are all a bunch of tools, and there's different tools for different things. Like in layer 1, obviously, I have these other tools, which I'll get to in a minute. But on the image layer, I can use this, which is transform layer, and by selecting this, I can move this around. Now, it's important to note, I don't know how they do it in Flash, but when you have this transform layer, you hold Shift and then click and drag, and that will make it so that the image will only move it'll move in a straight line. So if I hold Shift and click it, it will go up straight or down straight, or I could do it again and move it from left to right in a straight line. But if I just don't do that, it'll go all over the place, and it's not so easy to move things in a straight line with a keyboard and mouse. Now then, also, I forgot to mention, I will be showing you how to make all these vectors with the keyboard and mouse. If you have, like, a graphics tablet or a Cintiq or something like that, fabulous. Things are going to be a lot easier for you. You probably don't even need to do a lot of what I'm going to do to get these things to look the way I want them to look, or you're going to have at least a lot more shortcuts. Now then, so we got to get into making the actual pony. So how do we do that? So we have layer 1 here, but I'm not going to use this layer because I want to show you how to make a new layer. So we have over here this little tab you'll see here. Now I don't know if it'll come up. Will it come up? It's not going to show you, but there it is, new layer. So you click open this and you have a bunch of different layers. You have vector, image, group, bone, switch, particle, note, audio, patch, and text. They're all important. Now, bone is something that is specific to Anime Studio. I think maybe Flash is starting to use them, but Anime Studio has like a lot better bones. Like they have this technology called like smart bones in their program, but I don't use bones at all, and I'm not going to bother you with bones simply because, you know, it's not going to be something that's going to be easily translatable to Flash, and besides, I just don't really like to use it. But vector layers, simple enough. Now, the way that vectors are done, first, once we create a new vector, you can name the vector. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do the body. So we're going to type in body, just so that we know what it is. Now then, what I was saying before, about bones. I can't remember. I was saying something about bones. Whatever, don't worry about bones. Oh, right, now I remember. It's not bones, sorry. Vectors are done a little bit differently in Anime Studio than they are done in programs like Flash. So if you're following along in Flash, in just a second I'm going to show you something that's going to help you out. But first, now, you can, in Anime Studio, you can just freehand and try to sketch out basically what you want, but I find that it's a lot easier just to draw a square like this. Oops, let's bring that up to the top layer, okay? So you can see it, I drew a square. In fact, actually, let's delete that. I'm going to bring this up. Layers, you should know this, hopefully, but layers are, well, they're layers. So this one is the third layer down, but if I click on it and I bring it up, you can see a red line seeing where it's going to go, and bring it to the very top. Now it'll appear above all of this. So if I go to draw the square now, you see it's above everything. And if I go to the transform layer tool and just bring it over here, you'll see it's also above this layer, which is the layer just below it. Which is important. It's important to understand how layers work. Okay, now, before we get into anything else, we want to get this color. We brought this in so we could have the color. So we have our square over here, which we're not going to transform just yet. First, we want to get the color. So, let's see what the color over here is. So I'm going to hold shift and click on this, because now if this was a vector, I could actually get the line and body color, but since it's an image, I have to hold shift and left click, and it will do this little thing. You can see it, me moving it around, and it'll grab the color. So we can grab the color here, and you'll see it appear up here. You click on there, and you'll get this, whatever this number is, showing you the color. Just copy that. You could either copy that, I think, no, you're going to have to use keyboard commands, which is very simple. Just hold Control and then click C. Control C. Easy enough. Easy peasy. Now we're going to go back over here to this square. We're going to click onto it. Oh, sorry. Let me show you. So this is the eyedropper tool right here, eyedropper, and that's what I use to get the color over here. Okay? Okay, good. Up here, you'll see this is under the Fill tab. You have this select shape. I think, yeah. You have little shortcuts. You could press Q. L will give you the eyedropper, and Q will give you select shape. You grab select shape, and when you have select shape selected, you'll click the object, like so, and it will kind of have this weird checkerboard pattern all over it. Now you go over here, and if you notice, when I have it unselected, this is kind of grayed out, but once I have it selected, you'll see, see, this is now a thing. And I can remove the fill, or I could remove the stroke if I wanted. I could go into advanced options, and there's a bunch of stuff here. Not going to get into any of that right now. You don't need to worry about it. There's also the width and the effect. Not going to get into those just yet. Just bare bone basics right now. So, we're going to go to fill, and we want to put in the color that we got from the image. So we're going to use another keyboard command right here with this all selected. Now, you could just delete this, but, well, if you want to be safe, you could just hit the backspace and delete it so that it doesn't mess it up. But if you have it all selected and you go to paste what you the color that you had, the number for the color that you had, it will, once you go to paste the color that you had, as long as it was selected, it will just delete it. It'll just delete, kind of paste over top of it. But anyway, that doesn't matter. If you want to be safe, you could just delete it. And then you hit Control and V, and now we have the color in there, okay? Trying to explain this bit by bit as best as I can. I know this is probably a lot of beginners watching this, so I'm trying to explain everything that I can. I'm not very good at that sometimes. Now, we're going to go back over here, okay? And do I need to? I don't think I do. No, I don't. I thought I might have to select the layer. Keep in mind that, see how there's this blue on the layer? That tells me what layer I have selected, and that's important for later, but I don't think for right now you need to worry about that too much. But that is important. Now we're going to get the line layer, so we're just going to hit Shift again with the eyedropper tool in hand. We're going to click this, and now the color is up here. We're going to do the same thing, Control C, we have the color, just like that, easy peasy. Going to go back over here, I'm going to select it with the select shape, go up to stroke this time, and paste that in. And I'll show you this with it all selected. You see it's in blue right here. Just Control V and it'll paste over top of it, and now we have the line. You have the line color. Simple enough. Okay. Now that we have all that, you're saying, okay, now what do we do with this? Okay. Well, firstly, we're going to go over here. Now, this little thing next to it, these two circles that kind of look like eyes or whatever, I think those are supposed to be eyes. That's visibility. You could just click that, and now it's invisible. But only the object, the object color and all that is invisible. But the lines, the vector points, they are still visible, and the connecting points between them. You can see that. Now, in animation, we use vectors, right? Now, you're probably asking yourself, okay, what exactly is a vector, though? And that's a very good question. Vectors are images that you can, or basically these graphics or whatnot, that you can expand or shrink as much as you want, and it never causes the image itself to be pixelated at all, because it doesn't use pixels. It uses points. These points connect to each other and actually create lines that can be expanded and shrunk and all that stuff like I just said. So in order to create the image, you need to use these points. So what I have selected right now is the curvature tool, but that's not what we're going to worry about just yet. We're going to go to here, transform points, which you can select with T if you want. And just click off real quick, just because it has all the points selected, that might be a little difficult. Oh, and if you're wondering how I'm moving around, you're actually, there's this called pan, which allows you to move around. But if you don't want to, have to worry about selecting pan, you can, in Anime Studio, you can move around just by holding the right click with pretty much any of the tools. I think there's a few tools that won't allow you to do that, maybe because they right click is for something else, but for most of the tools you can just hold right click and it will move you around. Simple enough. Now, we're just going to grab a point, and a point is selected because it becomes red, okay? Simple enough. So, this is the body, so we're going to put a point here, okay? See what I'm doing? On the sketch, you can see that I did, it goes up here and then ends. So we're going to put a sharp point here. And also, we're going to want to put a point here, I think. Point here. And a point here. But we don't want all these to be sharp points. Okay? So what we're going to do is, this one in particular, we don't want to be a sharp point. So we're going to go over here to curvature, which you can select with C. And you have peak, and you have curve. I think that's smooth, sorry. I usually just click smooth, and it becomes smooth now. There's a curve between these lines, and you can see that if I bring that up. Okay, should be able to see the line, hopefully. I can see it just fine, maybe you can't as much. As you can see, I've made it smooth. Now, you can actually, with the curvature tool in hand, you can click and drag and adjust the curvature as you want. So I could just do it like that. But the problem is, if I go to add another point, this is the add point, A. You can click A and get the add point, or just click on this little icon up here under Tools. It makes things a little difficult because it tries to keep the exact curvature, so you can see it kind of gets a little wonky. So I find it's a lot easier just to have it as smooth, and then just have all the points either smooth or peaked. But that's just in Anime Studio. Now, in Flash, I believe they have a different method of curving points, and I'll show that real quick. So, in Flash, now I don't have Flash, but I have Inkscape here. Inkscape uses a similar vector method, and if at any point you might be having trouble creating the vectors in Flash, you could always come to Inkscape and create them here. Now, so in Flash, like let's say there's a body or something like that, you'd say like, okay, I need a point here. You have your point, point here, 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 and let's connect it back. Okay, so now you have this, right? So the way that you would actually try to manipulate the points in here is you would not there's no sorry, I'm saying a lot because I'm having trouble. I'm trying to remember everything I need to say. It's a little difficult. You don't simply grab the points. Now, you can grab the points and kind of move them around, but that's not going to make them curved. To make them curved, there's something completely different you have to do, which, if I can remember what the tool is for it here. Oh, right. Right, this is the same tool. In Inkscape, anyway, you hold Shift, and you'll see this thing come up, and you can create a curve, like this, see? So now things are curving. And in Flash, there's something similar to this. And it's not hard to learn how to do this, what I'm doing right here. But it's certainly something once you create those curve points, you can kind of just grab them and move them around. But you have to like hold Shift. You have to hold Shift first, and then click on it, and you create the point, and then you can move it around and create these curves, like so. And they do something similar in Flash. I'm not sure where the tool is, but there is a very similar tool in Flash. I've seen it before. I haven't really worked too much in Flash, but I have seen it. I do know it is there. You can maneuver the points just like I am in Anime Studio. Okay. So again, if you're following along in Flash, you can do just the same thing. Just it's going to be a little different for you than it is for me. So back to this, we want to make sure that everything is following the lines that we've set, so we're going to add more points with the Add Point tool. Now, I don't know if you can add points. You might have to, like in Inkscape, I think maybe you can add points in Inkscape. In fact, here, I'll just double check just real quick just to see if you can. I think you can. If I go to this, if I go to here, I might be able to add a point. No, I'm afraid not. Maybe, just maybe, there probably is an add point tool, but I'm not sure where it would be. There might be an add point tool for you in Flash. I don't know if there is or not. You might have to do it similar to Inkscape, where you have to predetermine how many points you're going to need, which can be a little tedious and a little bit harsh on maybe some new people trying to do the method that I'm doing here. Again, if you were using, like, a graphics tablet, you could just use the freehand and kind of just draw all around the body, you know. But we're not. We're doing this mouse and keyboard, so I'm going to speed it. So you see I'm adding points, and I'm moving the points around, like so. And I'm just, and I am just following the path that I have made, like this. Okay. And I am creating the body, like this. Okay, just like that. And if I show you now, you see you have a base here for the body, okay? Now, we don't need a line between these two. You probably were wondering about that, so I'm going to show you that. Here, I have a tool called Hide Edge. It's very useful. I don't know what equivalent you would have in Flash, but if you're using Flash, I'm sure there's something in there. They have a lot of tools in Flash as well, just like Anime Studio, so it shouldn't be a problem, I'm sure. But there's Hide Edge, very simple tool. You go up to here, and between these 2 points, we do not want this line. We do not want it. So we just click on it, and it's gone. Just like that. And we could get rid of the line here, but we're not going to need to because we're going to put the neck layer over top of it. And you're going to see that later. Okay, so now this, if you remember this, it kind of curves up and then gets smaller. So we want to do that with this line. But how do we do that with that line? Very simple. We go here to the Fill tab over here, and you see this weird curved thing. It's called Line Width. You can press W to select it, or just click on it, and all you do is you select a point. You see the point has become red. Hopefully you can see that. You click and you hold and you drag. You go to the left to make it smaller. You go to the right to make it bigger. So you just go all the way to the left, and now the point is very small little point. Okay, and again, well, not again, I guess. If you ever feel like changing the color, you can always do that. You could just grab over here, move this down, create completely new colors, whatever. And cancel that, okay. But yeah, you could, any color you want, it's fine. Just any base you want, just have fun with it, I guess. Now anyway, so, you're probably wondering, why did we make the body like we just did? We only made a little bit of body. We didn't make a whole lot of body. We made, enough for the torso to have this torso part. But let me explain why we're doing what we're doing, the way we're doing it. So, since we're trying to make something for animation, we need separate pieces for everything. So we need the torso, which is about this part here, the neck, the head, the muzzle, the ear, the other ear, the tail, this hairpiece here, which will probably all be one thing, this hairpiece in front, again, probably going to all be one thing, maybe not, I'll have to see about that, this horn, which would be one thing, the legs would be broken up, each leg would be broken up into two parts, you would have this thigh, and then this calf, and same thing back here, you would have this rump, and then you would have the leg below it, and of course you would have the wing, which would, I think the wing can be all one thing, that'll be fine. And then, you know, you have the eyes, which would be, the eyes themselves would actually be broken down into several layers in a group layer, but we're not at group layers yet, so, but the point of having all that is so, well, I wonder if I have something I can explain that with a little better. If I go to my library, don't worry about libraries just yet, you don't have anything in yours, I wouldn't imagine. But if I just try to show this real quick, I should have, here, I have Pinkie Pie here, bring that in, just as an example, because I have this layer done, and, just to show you how the vectors work, so you see, if I expand this a bunch, it stays exactly the same. Now, it does look a little rough, but that's actually just because, okay, now you can see the lines a bit better, but the reason it just looks a little rough is because this isn't the full rendered, but rendered it's fine, it doesn't make any difference. But I can show you with Pinkie Pie. So, let's go to the side layer here, and you can see there's a lot of layers in here, but don't worry about all that just yet. So if I wanted to say, okay, where is her calves? Let's just see. Okay, there's the calf back. Here's the calf front. Right there. You can see it. I'm just making it disappear and reappear just so I know where it is real quick. So you have the calf and the thigh. Okay, simple enough. So if I take the calf here, and I say, okay, let's see. Let's open these up. And let's grab a calf. Ooh, just deselect that. And, okay, so we take our thigh. Okay, and we just rotate it a little bit. Bring it up. And our calf. Like so. And with a few minor tweaks, we can actually get this to look a bit better. But basically, we're just taking these and kind of, I hope you can see kind of what I'm doing. I'm obviously not actually doing anything right now, but I'm just kind of trying to show you how you can take the layer and kind of maneuver it in a way that you'll have that you can have, like you have the calf, and then you kind of maneuver these pieces around, and then you have. Okay, move that back. I know this looks kind of advanced, but I'm just kind of showing off. There you go. So, see, I've taken these two separate pieces and I've kind of maneuvered them around, and I think because this is more simplistic, you probably could get away with having it as one big vector, but I just have it as two vectors just so that I get the idea for the separate parts, the joints. So basically, anytime you have a joint, you want to have a separate vector. So the head is separated from the neck, the head is separated from the mouth, the body is separated from the neck, the thighs are separated from the body, and then the calves are separated from the thighs, and the feet are separated from that. You have the arms, so you have the bicep region, and then the forearm, and then you have the hand, and stuff like that. So you see, so by breaking things down into those kind of different areas, breaking it into those kind of areas, we can manipulate the points, and we can manipulate the different graphics that we create, like we have with the body, and move them independently, and it makes things a little bit easier to move them around joints. Now, if you only use that, it can become a little stilted, which is why you need to create multiple of every part. But we're going to get into that later. Again, we're just making a base. So I'm gonna move on, and I'm actually, because you've already seen basically what I'm doing, I'm creating a new layer, neck, the body, disappear, bring this up. Oops, sorry. Here, bring this up. This is a good time to show this off. Now, because I had Pinkie Pie selected, I got her colors, basically. So, very simple. Now, it's even simpler than selecting the colors from over here. All we have to do to get this, because we have a vector with the colors that we need, and even the line width. See how the line width is different? This is 6 and this is 3.68. We just select it like that, then we grab our eyedropper tool, and we just left click this, left click, and automatically it has all the same effects and everything that this other vector did. It's very helpful for when you want to do things quickly. So again, we just put the points in. I'll show this off again. Put the points in to where they need to be. And we can just add points along here, like so, and give it the curvature that it needs, like that. And I'm just doing this real rough right now. And just bring this over just a little bit to match up with the rest of this. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So now you see you have the neck and you have the body. And you just do this, the same thing, you follow the outline that you create. And I also have something right here I can show you. If you're not too comfortable with drawing, ponies on paper or something like that, if you don't think that you're very good at it, I actually do have a cheat sheet here. I did not make this cheat sheet, but I did find it, and I will provide a link to it in the description. Also, I will put an annotation on this right here, so you could click on it real quick, just for a few seconds. I'll keep this up, and you can click on this, and you can go right to that page, and you can get this, and you can use this to make ponies, have pony bases. You have the male up at the top, and you have a female here, and you also have a female with no eyelashes. I don't know why they make the difference, but whatever. So you can use this to create your bases, if you want. You don't have to, but I provide it just because, in case you don't want to draw. Personally, I think you should try to have a little bit of uniqueness to all of your characters. But anyway, I'm going to speed this up a little bit, just to show you, what you can do with this real quick. Okay, I just about finished up with this. This quick base here. Oh, crap. I did not use any techniques at all that I have not already explained or shown you, so this shouldn't be too hard to do. All I did was I created, like I said before, I would just create a shape. I would add points, I would maneuver it around, and to match with my outline. And then I would shrink certain points to points in the vector to make it create these edge kind of. Well, you see what I'm pointing at here. This effect, to have that effect. Now, there's a new technique that I'm going to show you real quick to help with the rest of this base, which is now. So let's see here. We have a front leg. We have a back leg. We have two back legs, obviously. Now the back leg to make things easier on ourselves, we're just going to take the front leg, and we're going to click that. Do you see what I clicked? I clicked, here, I'll delete that, I'll do it again, front leg. You have the front leg selected, so this is where having layer selection is important, remember? Now keep in mind, we have everything, all the layers, in a particular order so that they appear the right way. So if, like, I took the back leg and put it above rump, you see where a problem comes in, right? But if I put it below rump again, now we have what we want to see. So remember that layer, where your layers are. You want to know where you need your layers to be. What's going to be above what. That is very important. And how to organize them, that's important. But I've already shown you how to maneuver that around. You just grab it and you move it wherever you need it to be. But besides that, now going back to the front leg thing again. Okay, front leg. Here we are. This is called the duplicate layer. You click it. It looks like the create new layer, but it has a little plus beside it. It's right here, and I almost guarantee you that you can do the same thing. You can duplicate a layer in Flash too. I'm not sure where the tool is for it, but if you're following along in Flash, you should be able to do this too. I'm just not sure where the tool is. So you just click duplicate layer, so we have front leg too. Okay? So we're going to put this behind the body, and we're going to transform layer. And actually, we're going to set an origin for this layer, just to make things easier. So, see, set origin, we're just going to click on where about the center of it should be on the layer, with the layer selected, obviously. Then go back to transform layer, and you see now it has basically that selected because we've put it on where about the center of it is. And we just move it over just ever so slightly, bring it up, like this, because since it's in the back, it's a little higher up because of perspective. And we just kind of match it up a little bit. Just match it up a little bit with that. Okay, good. So now you can see we have a second leg. Easy enough. And now we do the same thing with the back leg. We'll create a duplicate layer, back leg, put it below. Just like that. We're going to take it. We're going to set the origin for it again just to make things easier for ourselves. Going to move it over again, bring it up to about there. Right there should be good. We're going to do that for the rump. We're going to create a second rump. Put that below the back leg. So there's rump 2. We're going to set the origin around the center. Transform the layer and move it over slightly. Bring it up and put it right about there-ish. Now you see we run into a quick problem that can be very easily fixed, which is because we've moved this over here. Now the rest of the rump is kind of just protruding out. Now we could easily just grab all these points and move them down, but something that could be equally easy to do is just select points. We don't need all these points. So we can just easily select the points with this rectangle thing under draw, very first thing. You can select it with G if you want. Select a few points, you don't need them. Just like that, you see you have them red. Go up to edit and clear. And now the points are gone. And now you can just move these down. Just like that. And now you see you have the back part of the pony, you have the legs done. Easy peasy. We've already made things easier on ourselves because we don't have to go through and muck about with making a bunch of new points and moving them all around. We just copy them, put them to the back. Easy. Just like that. We're going to do the same thing up here for the ear. We're going to create another ear. Oops, sorry. Duplicate ear. Ear 2. Move it behind the head. Going to set the origin to about the center. Move it to the back. About right here. Like that. Just like that. We have another ear. Easy peasy. Done. And just like that, we have a base for our pony. Okay? So, I've gone through a lot of stuff. We've talked about layers and visibility of layers, adding points, moving the points. So you have, So you can move the points, you can select the points, you can add points, you can create the curvature of the points, peak it, smooth it, or maneuver it however you want it yourself. You can create objects like that. You can select the object and change its color. You can import images. You can use the eyedropper tool to select an image color. Just like this. Just like so. And then again, you can go in. You can go into your object or whatnot. You can take the color that you selected, that you copied. You can copy it and you can put it to something else if you want. Learned all that stuff. A lot of stuff has been covered in this first episode. I don't know when I'm going to get around to making the next episode, but I'm going to continue with this base, and this is the base, basically. This is our base. This is what we need. This is most of where the animation is, all this body, okay? This is what needs to be moved around. Now, to make things simple, I actually made this leg just one big thing, just for the sake of ease, but again, I do recommend just having it in two separate parts, like I do the back legs, or like I showed you with Pinkie Pie. It makes things a little easier. But anyway, so there you go. This is the first episode. Please let me know what you think, what you like. I'm going to continue with the tutorial in the next episode. I'm going to create the hair and the eyes, I think. Maybe the horn. I'll probably finish up the rest of this in the next episode. But anyway, again, yes, so if you like this episode, hit like on it. Please give me feedback on what you think. You want to see more? Whatever. Just let me know. Like the episode, hit like on it. Otherwise, I'll see all of you in the next one. Bye-bye! Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked that video, make sure to hit like on it and share it with your friends. Otherwise, hit subscribe for more awesomeness from the channel.